I kind of reported and gave a quick hit on this yesterday, but I want to revisit it. Not yesterday on the Millionaire Morning Show, but on my other channel. But I wanted to bring this to light because, for example, somebody, and I think that chat lives matter. So shout out to the people over here in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's getting their rocks off. Moderators, make sure that you don't censor anybody in the chat that's not being disrespectful. If they got a difference of opinion, then let them rock, right? We don't censor people. We don't want to live in an echo chamber. We love all opinions over here on the Anton Daniels channel and the Millionaire Morning Show. But I seen somebody in the chat says, oh, you pushing more propaganda about this migrant crisis and stuff. Well, never mind the fact that we've been covering it for over 2 years. So we really have the data and the statistics, and we have real information. But I'll give you an example of why this is important for us to continue to mine out, because it's not just propaganda. This is something that's really happening in real life.
An illegal immigrant from Honduras is now behind bars after a massive manhunt in Indiana. Dimas Gabriel Yanez is accused of stabbing a 14-year-old girl while she was attending her younger brother's baseball game. The suspect was deported in 2018 and is linked to several other crimes across the United States. Matt Ramian was coaching the brothers' baseball team. He was on third base with a player, and he saw the whole thing and joins us now. Good morning to you, Matt. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for what you do for the kids.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So tell us what happened. What did you see?
Well, I was just coaching a baseball game like I pretty much do all the time, and I'm on third base. I look to talk to my on-deck batter, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this dude just come out of behind my dugout, and all he did was just jump on this girl. And then he started to like push her down onto the bleachers. And then he pulls out at least a 16 to 20 inch knife. It wasn't even a regular sized pocket knife, and just started swinging it and got her a few times, and blood went all over the bleachers and on the people sitting in front of him. Then he just takes off running down the sidelines and started waving the knife at a couple other people as he was running. And then a bunch of the dads, at least like 10 to 15 dads, just go running after the guy and chased them all through the woods, and then like a 26-hour manhunt proceeded.
Can you imagine? Just think about this for a second. Can you imagine you doing the most American thing ever? You're spending your weekends or your weekdays or after work. You go to work, you take care of business, you got a couple kids, you also, a part of the community, and so you're a baseball coach, and so you volunteering and you're not getting paid for it, but you're doing the most American thing ever. You're spending time with the kiddies, and you're coaching the little kids up, and you're letting them have a good time. People probably having a picnic, soccer mom bands all in the stands or whatever. Little woman is probably gossiping about how they think that the man on second base look good, and all of this little stuff, right? And so you're doing normal American things. These are things that people used to do back in the day, right? In Indiana, of all places. I mean, if Indiana is not one of the most American cities/towns that I've ever seen, or states, I don't know what is. If you've never visited Indiana, you should. I went to Indianapolis. It's a convention city. You know what I'm saying? They got a phenomenal zoo. I rode bikes there. Another city that's off the grid that they probably saying is weird. And you look over because you hear a scream, and one of the 14-year-old girls has a Honduras illegal migrant that got the mange in his hair, and he's over there with a large knife, water whipping on her and stabbing her up. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You're playing baseball. An illegal migrant with the mange in his head, probably foaming at the mouth for all I know, jumps up with a knife and just automatically starts attacking a 14-year-old girl. Now, let me say this also, because we keep trying to make sense of the devil. We keep trying to make sense of the devil. The devil is not to be negotiated with, because the devil makes no sense. And I know y'all don't think that it's spirits and principalities, but I'm telling you, I believe that is real. I believe that when you open a door up and you start to let people into your home, and I also say that your home is your home country, and it then just becomes available for anybody to do what they want to do, and there's no standards whatsoever. See, you can't do that in another country. I don't care if it's a developed nation. I don't care if it's a third world country. I don't care what it is. If you go over to Mexico, go over to Mexico, either you're going to stay on a reservation, right? You're going to stay in the resort and just go to the tourist destinations. But the minute that you step off the beaten path and you start to get into it, guess what? You're going to do as Mexicans do. You go over to Japan. You adapt. You adjust unto their customs and their ways. You go over to Dubai. Get frisky if you want to over to Dubai. Go to Turks and Caicos. They arresting people and they throwing them under the jail. We think that we could take our American ways in other places and they'd be like, all right, I got something for you, big dog. This is the only place that I can think of on earth that you come in and you can do whatever you want to do. Don't matter if you document it. You ain't worried about getting deported. You ain't worried about nothing. You come over here and you just do what you want to do. Whenever you want to do it. What you say? I could pray in public on the train. Like, I'm going to you could just do anything you want to do. No standards, no nothing. So now what you see is people bringing their own demons and devils right across the border in with them. And now it's starting to be affecting other people's lives and our cultures and upsetting what you thought was very American. Now, America in less than 18 years, 20 years has changed from whatever the standards were that we set forth to whatever it is that anybody else want to do. Now, it's okay for them to be sassy, go into your bathrooms. That's not from here. That's not the ways that we were raised. That's not the biblical standards by which the laws was set forth in this country. And that's not what it is. We want to take God out of schools. We took prayer out of schools, right? We took them off of our money, or at least we trying to. We trying to remove "In God We Trust." We don't even believe in God no more because everybody else said, we don't want to. There is no standards here. And so you got all of these different ways and so many different people with different tongues coming in here, right? Most of them don't even speak English because there is no vetting process. There is no requirement. There is no standards. There is no law that they got to abide by. And they can come in and not only are they coming in and kicking your butt, but they also coming in and they're being incentivized to do so. They're getting paid to do so. They're getting paid to do so. And so you trying to make sense of it. Why would he do that? That's not something because they ain't from here. They don't think like you think. They ain't adapted to the way that you move. You didn't set the standard and require them to continue to do what you're doing. They setting the standards and saying, you adjust to me, you move around me. So they just come in and they do what they want to do. I came in Arizona, I want a bus ride up to Chicago. Chicago said, oh man, they overwhelming us. Where you want to go? Bus them over to Indiana. Just ship them anywhere they want to go. So there ain't no standard. So now, all of this residual effect is now affecting this young man and these people. And then you look up and now you got somebody with the mange on his head just stabbing some 14-year-old girl and then running off into the woods. Now it's got to be a 24-hour manhunt. Get out of here with that nonsense, bro.
My goodness. I mean, we see behind you, it's a field. This is an all-American thing that we all do this on a Saturday. We go to our siblings' baseball games. You don't expect crime to happen there. Why in Indiana is this happening?
That's the question everyone's been asking, I mean, it's a small town. I mean, Lowell is one of those little close-knit towns. They have a big Labor Day weekend, like festivals. They have a music festival. They have fireworks shows, parades, every day something different. And, it's one of those towns where everybody knows everybody. So, I mean, for something like this to happen was...
Somebody said this is crazy. None of those men had guns? Who? We had a little league baseball game, fam. This is Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Like, you're not expecting for some monster to just jump out the woods and go, and what you gonna do? You gonna shoot him while he's stabbing a girl? Come on, man. Think through it.
Shocking, just not for Lowell, but for all the communities around them.
What are they saying about this illegal migrant? Was he on drugs? What would make him just run and jump on this young girl?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Nobody has an answer. You know, the detectives and I think now it's in the DEA's hands. So they're, investigating every possibility on who, what, where, and why. I mean, the last I heard is he just took a train from Colorado and ended up in Indiana. I don't know where he was going or
So he
what's
came
going
over
on,
from
but
Denver. So he came over from Denver and then somehow, some way got paid to come over to Indiana. Now your 14-year-old is under duress.
he decided to be, I guess, like a drifter and cause havoc at a baseball game.
Yep, this just proves it's not a Texas problem. It's not an Arizona problem. This is happening all over our country in small towns. How's the young girl doing and how are the players doing? Because I understand they were traumatized.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can only imagine how they feel. I mean, me witnessing it as an adult, it kind of shocks me. I mean, it puts you in a different perspective. You change your views on a lot of things. The girl, she's doing very well. I mean, she ended up getting out of the hospital. She's, being a trooper about it. She actually went to school. Her mom told her she didn't have to go to school if she didn't want to, but she wanted to be strong and she wanted to have a day at school. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about her character. And all the boys were kind of shocked. They're all strong kids. I mean, they're only 12 years old, but at the same time, I mean, something like that happens. I mean, it's something that adults shouldn't.
DoorDash driver mama, shout out to the DoorDash driver mama. You said, Anton, do you carry? I don't have no choice. I wound up getting my CPL, concealed pistols license. I went to the classes and stuff like that, and then I got a renewal. But one of the reasons why I did that is because when I built my first restaurant, unfortunately, and I hate guns. I absolutely hate them. I've come to realize that I have to exercise my amendment and my rights in order to do so because I got to protect my family. And I don't only carry, I also be having security with me most places. And then I also have taught, Rita, and so she got her CPL and everything like that. And she goes shooting and everything. But I hated it growing up because it was something that I was involuntarily introduced to when I was a young kid, right? Growing up in the hood, inner city of Detroit, you're going to see guns everywhere. You're going to see people sneaking them into to school and stuff like that. Even as an elementary school, I was like, man, I don't like this, bro. Like, because I don't like a representation of that, especially that early in life. So I grew a disdain for it earlier because it was so much inner city violence that was going on. But then I kind of came to the conclusion, obviously, that I had to be safe. I don't do it because I want to. I don't do it because I think that I'm tough. I do it because I feel like it's necessary in these times to make sure that you're protected and always strapped up. And so I don't miss. I don't miss. The one time that you miss is the one time that you get got. The one time that you miss is the one time you get got.
See, but I mean, for these kids to see that just makes it a little bit harder and makes you a little bit more emotional for them.
Yes, yes. I understand she has, big medical bills now. She was stabbed in the hand and she's also going to need counseling. Some of the other kids might need counseling. So I know you can go to Fox.
Absolutely.
You can go to foxandfriends.com if you want to give money to that.
So, yeah, man, I wish the best for the family. I hope that everything works out for them, but, it's bad. It's absolutely horrible. And the trauma that comes along with that and seeing that, them kids can't unsee what they saw. They lost their innocence on that day. On that day, when they was out there for a baseball game and and he was at third base, they lost their innocence that day. Their cherries was popped with violence. And so, I think that kids should grow up to be kids because the world is already going to kick their butt once they get into it in the first place. But to have it introduced to you like this is absolutely wild, in my opinion. But make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these.